866-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars making more moves. It is expected, obviously, after the NFL draft. You knew that James Gladstone was going to do what he wants to do as far as the front office. And I would think Ethan Waugh is the beginning of a few moves that'll come down here probably in the month of May. I think Ethan Waugh, here's a guy we just never really got to know. We had a couple of opportunities to speak with him when he met with the local media. Obviously, he'll always be linked to Trent Baalke. And as assistant general manager, he was in Jacksonville for 3 years. He actually took on the title as the interim general manager when Trent Baalke was fired, 16 days after Black Monday. I'll never really know. Is this a good football man? Is this a guy who's been, labeled as someone under Trent Baalke? Therefore, so many people, not only here in town, but in other places as well, will form an opinion. I always thought in very brief conversations with Ethan Waugh, he was a pretty good dude. And, I think he deserves some credit. Now, he got paid. Right? When you stay on, you're getting paid. But he still was responsible for putting together everything for Tony Baselli and Liam Cohen and then James Gladstone. Remember how this organization did it? It was backwards, the way they set things with that threesome. And it certainly does appear that Gladstone is on top, and he is going to be very powerful, and he is going to have incredible say on this roster and what they're going to do as far as the draft and what they're going to do as far as free agency. But that was actually a question I did ask James Gladstone when we met with the Jaguars prior to the NFL draft. My thinking was it's almost like he had two jobs or twice the amount of information, because Gladstone had spent 9 years in Los Angeles in all of the information that he had there. And I don't know how that process works. Are you allowed to take your laptop with you? Are you allowed to take files and information that you've stored with you? Is there a wink, wink, a nod, nod? He's got a great relationship with Les Snead, the GM of the Rams. Or do you just leave everything in the desk and you're escorted out of the building, and then you fly here to Duval and you get Ethan Waugh's information? All of the scouting, everything that's gone into it. I mean, I think a real accurate point and a real interesting point that Gladstone made is not bringing guys in for interviews. It's rare, but one of his major reasonings for that was the information that they have acquired on a particular player for years, and how that's more important than just bringing a guy in who, when you fly him in, they're going to be buttoned up. I guess unless you're Shedeur Sanders, right? You're going to be buttoned up. You're going to be ready for the interview. You're going to try to present yourself in a positive way. I mean, if you're taking an interview somewhere here in Jacksonville, aren't you going to do that? Or are you just going to show up? So anyway, Ethan Waugh's out, and I think he deserves some credit. I would really like to know, out of the picks that Gladstone made, certainly the Travis Hunter one was obvious, but everything from 88 on, how much of that material actually came from the Jaguars side? How much of that came from Ethan Waugh, Trent Baalke, and the staff? Kind of get the feeling that Gladstone's his own man, right? And that he looked at it, he used it. I'm sure it was a major reference point, but I don't know this. It just kind of, if you sound it out, like Gladstone has been in charge of this thing since day one. So Ethan Waugh is gone. I think it's only the beginning. Jake Tem was brought in. I don't know, what was that, 5-6 weeks ago from Los Angeles, who is now really ahead of analytics. Tony Khan, still there in name, and Tony Khan's very busy, but Tony Khan has a tremendous amount of responsibility across the globe with his involvement in soccer and wrestling. Jake Tem comes in as the senior vice president of football analytics. And, I wonder where else Gladstone will go. I don't think that he will pillage L.A., out of respect for Les Snead, out of respect for his 9 years with that organization. But there may be a couple of guys there that he's looking at where he can promote and he can pay them more to come to Jacksonville. I look at a guy like Chris Driggers, who was here since the infancy of this franchise. And I see Chris a couple of times a year, most notably when Florida State does practice over at the campus of UNF, and look at his input. Last year, Braden Fisk, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse, a couple of Los Angeles Rams that were selected, and that was James Gladstone's, responsibility in L.A. He was in charge of college scouting. Driggers handed that information to him. What he saw here during a couple of practices, and obviously Driggers and others went to games. I want to say Chris still lives here in Jacksonville. I believe that's the case, but I just wonder, is that a phone call? Hey, Chris, you were here for nearly 30 years. I believe he got bumped during the Urban Meyer situation, and so there's a possibility. Brian Sanders, Florida State fan. Do you remember that name? Right, a guy that kind of a role player at Florida State, kind of a blue-collar player at Florida State. He continues to grow throughout his career as a front office executive. Sanders and Driggers right now are senior personnel executives in L.A. I'm just throwing out a couple of names. Would Sanders like to come back close to home? A couple of hours down the road from I-10 in God's country. Ray Farmer is a name that has been mentioned before in some spots. Senior advisor to Les Snead right now in Los Angeles. So, I have nothing concrete on this. To be honest with you, I haven't really even asked all that much. But I wouldn't be surprised if any one of those three end up calling Duval home in the very near future. I'm sure, like everything else, Gladstone wants to put his fingerprints all over this. And he's going to, search the globe for front office executives, for others that really help out in the world of scouting. I hope current folks on the Jaguars front office and their roster, I hope they don't lose their gig. I do not. This is a brutal business. They're paid good cash, but you know what it's like. It's almost like being a radio host, right? If you lose your gig and you want to continue on with this profession or the profession of being involved with an NFL team, you got to pack up your family and you got to head somewhere else. So we'll keep you updated as we do move forward. But again, this is a 34-year-old GM. And what you've heard so far, you've been able to digest. This is a really intelligent guy. He thinks differently. It's really kind of rare, in my opinion. I've really never seen anything like it. And as of right now, it's an A+, in my opinion. Okay? I think that there will be people that will be ready to hop on board and overly criticize, not necessarily locally here, but nationally if it backfires. But nothing's going to backfire here in the final couple of days of April. So far it's off to a really good start, and I expect more moves to come in, this summer. And once they do, we will absolutely keep you updated. All right, let's get back to the NFL draft. Let's do that. Damian Parson is standing by. He's coming up in 12 minutes. Does a great job with Locked On NFL Draft, and Damian's been one of my favorites over the years when it comes to evaluating talent. And, obviously we bring these guys on forever, pre-draft, and it seems like most of the conversation is on the first round. And when you're selecting 5, you would expect that. And just look how crazy this offseason went, right? I mean, forever it was Mason Graham. Then there was that tiny little wave of Tet McMillan. Then there was the tiny little wave of Travis Hunter. Remember there was actually a time where people were saying Hunter could fall to 5? You know, Sanders would go, Ward would go, Carter could go, New England, you know, they went out and signed, who the heck did they? They signed Charlton Davis as a free agent corner. Could they select Will Campbell? And then that went away, right? Then it became Genty. And then, of course, everything changed on draft day. Well, listen, all of our conversations are on Hunter. I kind of want to get through that tonight. I want more time on Caleb Ranshaw. I want to learn more about this guy who spent 3 years at Troy and 1 year at Tulane. And he is a young man now that I think some of us will pencil in as a day one starter next to Travis Hunter. 2 rookies who start. Hunter at wide receiver, Ranshaw at safety, and he doesn't have a lot of experience there. He's played boundary. He played slot at Tulane. So, again, let's talk to Damian Parson about that. Wyatt Milam is, I think he's got a real chance here in town to be a fan favorite. You know, I've talked with a couple of West Virginia people and even some that have contacted me via social media, and the end game has been the same. Nasty. And that just absolutely fires me up because that is one thing that this offensive line needs. The offensive line needs a ton of things, but one thing is some nasty. This has been a soft offensive line. This has been a slow and friendly offensive line. And we all read the quotes that Milam made about how no one's going to touch Trevor Lawrence, right? We know that he has been a left tackle at West Virginia, and he didn't allow a sack in 4 years. He didn't allow a sack in more than 1,000 dropbacks and pass blocking situations. But right off the surface, okay, number 2 and number 3, pick number 88 and pick number 89. Ranshaw and Milam, what are you asking them to do? Do something they haven't done before, or do something that they've done very little of before. They're changing positions. I must remain consistent. This drove me crazy in the Bulky regime. This drove me insane during the Caldwell administration. Feel free to draft the guy who played a position and play him at that position. Outside of Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if Trent Baalke ever drafted a guy and they played him at that position, including Anton Harrison, who had 22 starts, 22 out of his 23 at Oklahoma, and he started at right tackle. But that appears that is what Gladstone is doing as well. So I do wonder, and it's not like I've researched the other 31 teams. I've studied the other 31 teams. It almost feels like this is very common in college football to the NFL. And it's not that there's the ego-driven GMs who say, I'm the smartest guy in the room, watch this. I'm going to take a guy and make him do something he's never done before. I think, honestly, their input and the effort is, we have a hole here, and we believe this is the best overall prospect, the highest graded prospect that we can find, that we can draft, who can fill that void. If it's anything outside of that, then for anyone involved, I think it's asinine. I just do. In a perfect world, I wish you were getting guys who played that position in college. But, you know, one of the major traits that really sticks out about this year's draft class is versatility. Guys do several different things, including obviously your first-round pick who plays both ways. But it feels like every single one of these guys that has been selected has done a lot of different things on Saturday, and hopefully they'll be able to have some range and do some different things here now on Sunday. So we'll do that with Damian Parson. That's coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Really looking forward to the conversation. All right, opening comments tonight and every night brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. Unfortunately, people are getting taken advantage of financially when it comes to cataract surgery. They'll charge you more than $5,000 an eye. And by the way, this is something that your insurance should cover. At least they should cover most of it. That's another great thing involved there with Shmunez Vision. Immediately as you make an appointment, get things sorted out insurance-wise. All right? Also, with a lot of these practices, when you are going to have cataract surgery, you don't even get the opportunity to have a sit-down with your doctor who is performing the surgery. They're going to pedal you down the hall and say, have a conversation here with our surgery counselor. Who wants to talk with a surgery counselor? You want to talk with the doctor who's operating on you. At Shmunez, that is always the case. Dr. John Hunt, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. Neo Shmunez, who performed surgery on my right eye going back now almost 9 years ago. They're the best in the biz, and I want you to figure that out off of my advice. Go to Shmunez Vision, or you can also go to Instagram and get the very latest as well, testimonial-wise, at Shmunez Vision. All right, I am fired up about tonight's show. I can't believe we're getting ready to say goodbye to April. Time just needs to slow down a little bit. I mean, this is a time for Jaguar fans to embrace. This is the time for Jaguar fans to indulge. This is the time for Jaguar fans to freak out. You don't need May. We don't need June. No, just keep it here in April. Slow things down a little bit and relish in all of this. Let's review the Jaguars draft. Let's do it with Damian Parson. He goes into the night next with Rick Ballou.
Hi, I'm Mike Detke.
I'm Jeremy Mincey. I'm Amani Toomer.
You're listening to 1010XL.
1010XL. 1010XL.
92.5 FM.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and my knee was getting worse, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Hacker here, taking you back exactly 1 year this week. I was only 9 weeks into Awaken 180, and it already dropped 54 pounds. Seriously, that's like shedding a first grader in just over 2 months. That's wild, right? Fast forward to today, 2 months into my maintenance, and I'm still down over 115 pounds. Not a pound put back on. It's like Awaken 180 gave my weight a permanent eviction notice. Now listen up. We all want to have goals, but sometimes they seem to be far-fetched. This one won't be. Dropping 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180. It's doable when you have a proven program with an excellent coach by your side. Weekly weight loss, enjoying the ride, and reaching your goal. We all did it. No reason you can't. Set your goal, make the call, and reach 40 by the 4th with the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
The best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's quick hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
What a Guggen this will be. If you and a friend would like to play in this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open Golf Tournament May 19th at Hidden Hills Golf Club, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to win.
He just got a hole-in-one.
Score a hole-in-one and win an Atlantic Infinity SUV. ET makes a putt, you win lunch at Twin Peaks, a Chick-fil-A breakfast, and a Dandy Foods lunch. Thanks to our sponsors, Injury Care Centers, Kingfish Pest Control, and Valor Roofing.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
You're shrimp in a bag.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball at the newly renovated Five-Star Ballpark is your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Damian Parson is 30 seconds away. Locked On NFL Draft, one of the very best in the business, covering the draft. And, of course, Jacksonville just made 9 selections. I will tell you, tonight's show brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. If you have been injured, been in a car crash, Rick Alexander, he has made it his mission to fight for you over the last 30 years. And Rick has been rated AV, since 2004 by Martindale and Hubble. That is the gold standard for anyone in the law practice. Rick is a former prosecutor, has been representing those who have been injured in automobile crashes, and people are hurt because of careless drivers, If you have been injured and you are concerned and you're worried you're not going to get a call back, you're worried about paying out of pocket until everything is settled, that is not an issue at Alexander Law Practice. Go to alexanderlawpractice.com or call for a free review, 400-6600. Damian Parson, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, young man. How are you?
I'm doing good, Rick. I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, I'm outstanding. I want to get to these draft picks. So this give us 30 seconds on Travis Hunter. And are you surprised that it appears it's going to be primarily offense, not defense?
Explosive athlete, great ball skills, upside as a route runner, and really good in space after the catch. He has a punt returner type of feel and spatial awareness, high ceiling as a receiver. I'm not really surprised. I think he's an outstanding receiver, and he wanted to play receiver as well as DB. But I do think that looking at the longevity of it all, he hits his ceiling, and you're talking about $35, $40 million when it comes down to his contract extension. Receivers get paid more than DBs.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All right, let's get to Caleb Ransaw, a guy who played at Troy for 3 years, a guy who's played boundary, a guy who's played slot. had some work at the Senior Bowl at safety, but that is where the Jaguars' vision is, Ransaw as a safety here in Duval.
Yeah, and that makes sense. He's 5'11", almost 200 pounds, the explosive athlete, 4.33 in the 40-yard dash, a 40-inch vertical with a 10.9 broad. This is a guy that played as a big nickel. He's a willing tackler, a good tackler in run support. It was just more so, okay, he may not have the man coverage ability that make you feel comfortable to leave him at corner or nickel, but playing him at safety is a really good thing because now he can play that free safety. He can roll down as a robber, but also walk down into the box and help you as an extra man in the box against the run. Good pick for him. Good pickup.
All right, so you both again very. I think one thing in common with these picks that James Gladstone made is the versatility with these players. He raved about him as being a tackler, about being very physical. So, again, it kind of feels like he'd be in the box. But with that type of 40 speed and what he did with his athleticism, you think he could be a free safety as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think that this guy gives you the defensive flexibility from a play calling standpoint to be creative, right? Show different looks, pre-snap, rotate in the different coverages, post-snap. So be able to change. We always talk about changing the picture for the quarterback, make them think, hey, this is what it's going to be when the ball is snapped, and then rotate them back deep into the defensive backfield or rotate them down. I think he gives you that positional and play calling flexibility.
The league has been filled forever with guys who don't come out of power conferences. He spent 3 years at Troy, 1 year at Tulane. He hasn't played in a lot of quote unquote big games. Could that be problematic early on?
I don't think so. Not as much anymore. I think with these young men coming in as talents, of course, you want to see guys play against the SEC and the Big Ten and things of that nature. But what he does well translates well to the league. What I say early on, he will need to get accustomed to the speed and how quickly things process at the next level, 100%, because he's taking a little bit of a step up going from Tulane to the NFL. But I think he'll be fine. It's just getting his bearings, getting his feet wet, his feet settled, and really understanding, okay, this game is much faster and much more physical at the next level.
Damian Parson, our guest, he's from Locked On and has an NFL Draft podcast as well, which I do recommend. Much like Ransaw, who will be going to safety, you get Wyatt Milam and an unbelievable career at West Virginia as a left tackle. But the talk here now in Jacksonville is that he will slide inside and play left guard.
Yeah, I think, and during the season, everybody that watched Wyatt, that was kind of the perception that, hey, he's going to kick down into guard, but he's tough, strong, guy who plays with a good frame, and I think that's where his best ball is going to be in the NFL, a guy that can work laterally, and he's still, even though he's going to play inside, he does give you some swing tackle ability. I think if his arms were a little bit longer, he had 32 and 1/8 on the arm at 6'6.5", 313 pounds. If his arms were a little bit longer, 33, a little over 33, teams would have probably drafted him initially to play tackle, but then kick him down inside if it didn't work. He at least gives you that ability to be a starting guard, and I think he can be a good starting guard, but also give you some swing tackle flexibility just in case, hey, the first two tackles go down, you got a guy that can kick out and get you out of that situation in the pinch.
I've been asking you about this for years, so let's get to Milam here. This team has lacked it. They don't have the intestinal fortitude inside the ditch. Does Wyatt Milam have any of that?
Yes, he does. He does. Guy that's really good in the run game, heavy-handed puncher, physical at the point of attack. And I think, with him, it's hard to speed the power and bull rush and just run through his chest because he does anchor well and he plays with great strength. Yeah. I think he's going to bring some attitude to this rushing attack and really help open some running lanes, but also keep Trevor Lawrence clean in the pocket.
And obviously that is a big concern, keeping him healthy and just, keeping him upright is something that this offensive line is going to have to do if the Jaguars are going to take it to the next level. As soon as Bayshell Tootin was selected in the 4th round out of Virginia Tech, I think a lot of people like me here around town immediately thought of Liam Cohen last year in Tampa getting a 4th round selection in Bucky Irvin.
Yeah, this is a home run hitter, Rick. This young man is explosive. track speed. Well, you're in a 4.32 at the combine with a 1.49 10-yard split. Just an explosive athlete, 40.5-inch vert, 10.10 in the broad. Listed at 5'9", 205. This guy has he's got that short bowling ball, compact type of build. He runs behind his pads well. You get him going downhill. If he gets an alley, he's got the speed. I call it angle beating speed. He can beat defensive pursuit angles. He's got that type of long speed, and a guy that they understanding what he's going to be able to bring to the table. Is a between the tackles runner, so he can do some gap stuff, some zone stuff as well. Yeah, I think he's the type of guy that can really push Tank Bigsby, for that RB2 spot, and potentially Travis Etienne when it comes down to his contract extension.
Really, the only problem that he's had, and that's a fumble issue last year.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, he's got to hold on to the football. He runs very hard, and a lot of times with guys like that, you see it with Ashton Genty as well from Boise State. You turn on that Penn State game, and when you're trying to live through contact instead of making guys miss too much, defenders are smart. They're going to punch the ball. Mm-hmm. But you're like, okay, you want to contact balance, you want to bounce off of us, that's fine. While you're bouncing off of someone, that other defender that's closing in is raking and punching at the ball. So I expect that to be a very big talking point for him and coaching point early in rookie camp. Those coaches are going to make sure, hey, you got to hold on to the football or you won't see the field.
Yeah, I keep hearing really good things about Tootin. I do, so we shall see. Did they reach for Jack Kaiser in the 5th round?
I think it was fine value. Getting the instinctive, smart, headsy, steady Eddie linebacker. A guy's going to be where the defensive coordinator wants him to be. A guy that can kind of green dot, call some plays if necessary, willing and strong tackler. I think it was appropriate value. 5th round is right around where I had him. And I think especially playing downhill against the run, you got to deal with Jonathan Taylor, potentially Anthony Richardson again. In Indianapolis, they drafted DJ Giddens. Houston has myriad of backs with Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce and everything. And, that Tennessee is going to run the ball as well, with Khalil Mullins, who they drafted, and then Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. So I think a guy like that would bring some good value on the second level of the defense.
All right, in our final moment, the guy that I would list as a wild card is Jalen McLeod. Obviously, they need to develop him, but there's an opportunity in day one for him. If he goes out and wins it, he could be edge number 4 here in Jacksonville. Yeah,
6'2", 241. Guy that really has a nice get off the edge. He doesn't have the prototypical, 33, 34-inch arms, 255 pounds, but he gets after it. He gets downhill, 8 sacks last year after playing 3 years at App State. And he's a guy that he's toolsy and got some developmental upside with him. And I think he can come in right away as a DPR. You think about being able to sometimes kick Trayvon Walker down into that kind of 4-eye 3-tech and then rush McLeod right there opposite of him. You have him, Trayvon, Mason Smith, if he takes that step, and then Josh Allen Hines, and give yourself a nice explosive 4-man rush.
All right, kind of like we said with Kaiser, he's a 4-core special teams guy. This organization lost Caleb Johnson. They lost Tim Jones, who was a gunner. You get Ray Lane. Every time I read about him, it's he's a ball hawk as a safety, but he's a really good special teams player.
Yeah, and those type of guys you need on your team. You need those special teams aces, 5'11", 200 pounds, smart, instinctive football player, comes from a athletic background. Mom played softball at Kent State, and a guy that played a lot of football. He played a lot of football at Navy, and the thing about having him on the kick coverage team and things of that nature, you need a guy that can be that gunner, whether it's on kick coverage or on punt coverage as well. Just having those special teams aces who are physical, who are athletic, who are able to get downfield in a hurry but be disciplined to break down and make quality tackles in space, he can do that for you.
Hey, leave us with LaQuint Allen, a guy who ran for more than 1,000 yards, caught more than 500 receiving in the backfield. We all know about Liam Cohen's screen game. Is there an opportunity down the road here for Allen?
I think so. 6 foot, 205 pounds. This guy can run. He runs routes out of the backfield. Syracuse even lined him in a slot and will run slants and wide receiver routes for him. He gets yards after the catch and after contact. He runs hard. I think with him, this is a guy you might not even might. This is a guy I want to see them bulk up his lower body. Like when I saw him at the Senior Bowl, his legs was kind of thin. He was a thin build from when it turns onto his legs, and that can impact just to be able to run through contact in the NFL, anchoring against pass rushers and linebackers and things of that nature. But the pass catching upside with him is outstanding. Really good receiver out of the backfield. They did a good job of just being able to bring some talent into that running back room between him and Tootin, just in case ETN doesn't stay and Tank Bigsby doesn't work out.
You going to be able to go to an island for a couple of days now before you start working on Arch Manning and Company?
Yes, I'm definitely taking some time, hitting the beach, going with the family, relaxing for a little bit. But, the work never stops.
He is full-time Damian Parson. You can get him on Twitter. Go to at @DP_NFL. He's with Locked On NFL Draft. He's with Bleacher Report and some other entities as well. And we always appreciate him here on Into the Night in Jacksonville. Damian, the pleasure is always mine. Thank you, sir. We'll do it again.
Yes, sir.
There he goes, Damian Parson. So kind of wanted to just fly by these other picks. I'm guilty as anyone, but I think we invest so much in the top pick. And it's everything about Hunter. And we go through these questions, which are going to be very common, and they're going to be with us every day, every week throughout the offseason once we get to the regular season. But, this team has holes, and this team needs to find starters. And did they with Ransaw? Did they with Milam? Did they with Tootin? The more I hear on Tootin, people are just gushing about this guy. And they wouldn't be surprised if he ends up just taking over and taking it away from ETN, who's in his final year, and Tank Bigsby, who I think absolutely improved last year, but is going to have to get that much better coming up this year. So if you would like to voice your opinion on it, love to hear you. 641-1010 on the text line. You can also get to us on Into the Night on YouTube. Go to 1010XL and as well as on Twitter. Again, the program brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. Okay? You have been injured in a car crash or anything of that significance, make sure you contact Rick Alexander. Go to alexanderlawpractice.com. But for a free review, go to 46600 and get the attention that you deserve. You're hurt. You're injured. And this one is about you. So go to alexanderlawpractice.com. All right, when we come back, let's hear from Dylan Denmark. Let's get you involved in the rotation. I mean, what do you think? You just heard from an expert in the field of NFL scouting, going to the college game. He was at the Senior Bowl. He was at the East-West Shrine. He was at the Combine. I mean, I love conversations with Damian Parson. He likes what the Jaguars did. Let's continue with you on it. Again, best way to get us is the text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
High school, college, and pro.
As good as it gets.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. So visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
This is Dr. George Bari inviting you to look online at BariOrthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics and online at BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. E.T. here with Tintin XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to, and it should be yours too. Online at KuhnFlowers.com.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit Rocket.com. That's Rocket.com.
Fantastic news here. Due to overwhelming response, Beers Diamonds extending their amazing earring and bracelet sale for Mother's Day. Picking here. So now through Mother's Day, you can still save up to 40% off diamond earrings and diamond tennis bracelets. It's Beers' most ambitious offer ever, and response has been incredible. The corporate-owned big box stores can't touch these prices. Beers, locally owned, man. Say hi to the Lupos when you go over there. The freedom to give you pricing you deserve, highest quality diamond jewelry. Celebrate the mothers in your life with something they'll appreciate for decades to come. They also have special pricing on other Mother Day favorites, including colored gemstones, pearls, pendants, and fashion jewelry. Beards Diamonds, your destination for making this Mother's Day truly special. Don't miss Beards Diamonds' biggest sale ever. Up to 40% off Beards' already beatable value price. Now through Mother's Day at the Town Center. Only locally owned jeweler. It's Beards Diamonds.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us. And at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us. And it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia. AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care.
A chipped windshield can turn into a big problem fast. Lauren Brooks here. Trust Novus Glass of Jacksonville for expert repair and replacement. Call 904-289-2905 for Novus Glass in Orange Park. 904-289-2905.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's 2 for Tuesday at the Blue Crab House, meaning $2 margaritas. I could go for one right now. I got a sore throat. I'm not coming down with anything. I'm playing hurt, Dylan. That's kind of my role. $9 margarita pitchers over at the Blue Crab House. That is a deal each and every Tuesday night. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, $1 steamed oysters right off of San Jose, Jillington Creek Road, open from 4:30 till 9. Sunday, 12 to 9. And our electrical engineer here, custodial engineer, who I love and I've known for quite some time, asked me last Tuesday. He said, what time does the Blue Crab House open on Sunday? And I said, they open at noon. I go, why? What's going on? He goes, I don't live too far away from there. And I heard you say that they have $2.50 Bloody Marys. Okay? And they do. And they're the best around. Let me tell you, I was kind of hurting on Sunday after a Saturday on Bourbon Street. But in the New Orleans airport, I fetched down about 4 Bloody Marys, and they couldn't even hold a candle to the Bloody Mary formula that they have at the Blue Crab House. That's one of my biggest goals in life is to get that recipe. And hopefully one day I'll be able to pull that off. How you doing, Dylan? You a Bloody Mary guy?
No, I tried it one time. It was I'm more of just a mixed drink.
You don't drink at all. Who are you kidding?
No, I drank about, over the weekend, I had 15 vodka Sprites on Friday night and Saturday night.
Did you really?
Yeah, way
Good for
too
you.
much.
Was it Graham's wedding?
Yeah.
You got a couple of non-drinkers here in the company. Unless it's a special occasion. Hickens kind of part of that clout. I wish I could say the same. Not the deal, but it enhances the personality. Did you find that you were much more on top of things and
I was a lot more loose.
Electric? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was a lot more loose. Love the dance moves.
There you go.
Wiggle around on the dance floor.
Graham's with us too. He works here at the radio station. Is he on his honeymoon?
No, they're doing that in a couple weeks.
Okay.
He took yesterday off, but he was back at work today.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's got to go to another wedding this weekend for his family, so that's not good for him.
Hey, at least you can tell it's a Jacksonville-based wedding because it's right now. It's the time of the year to have them. You don't want to have weddings during football season. Can you imagine that? And there are some out there that do that. That's like strike one, strike two before you even walk down the aisle.
I had a cousin get married a couple of years ago in downtown Jacksonville at the same time of the Florida-Georgia game.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
I remember years ago, my sister got married like 20-some-odd years ago. And she married in that thing of hers. Just look it up. The Cianci family, based out of Rhode Island. And everyone at the wedding was betting. It was Michigan, Notre Dame. I believe it was Michigan, Notre Dame. And it's like you're trying to pay and you're trying to be respectful. And, this is the big day, one of the greatest days of your life. And this was pre having stuff on your cell phone. So you had to go reach out and monitor what was actually happening in the bar. But that was the deal. But then again, Boston's not a football town. You can get married on a Saturday in the fall in Boston. There's no college football there. I grew up there.
I heard one time somebody that covers the Northeast, they were like, even when Boston College was good, when they had Matt Ryan, it was like, the Red Sox, what they're doing, the Patriots, what they're doing, what Tom Brady had for lunch. Oh, and on the 5th page, Boston College is a top 10 team in college football.
Bro, I was in high school when Doug Flutie won the Heisman. Okay? And he was on page 8.
Wow.
All right, and there's no support for high school football as well. I played 2 Friday night games in my lifetime. One as a sophomore and one as a senior. Every single high school football game when I grew up in Boston and in Massachusetts, the games were played at like high noon on a Saturday.
Oh, that sucks. So it's like a Pop Warner feel, almost.
There's no doubt. Again, I'm not lying to you. There's no college football. And it's grown a little bit over the years. Maybe a little bit of BC, maybe a little Syracuse, a little Michigan, Notre Dame, maybe a little bit of Penn State, but that's it. I had no idea what to expect until I got down here and actually saw what was going on at Florida State. It honestly just blew me away. You see Travis Hunter's already the top-selling jersey?
Oh, yeah. No surprise whatsoever. No surprise at all. Shador's in the top 10 as well. But Travis Hunter, I mean, I was talking with Dempsey about this. You know, a lot of people your age don't understand, like, how kids are that watch football. That kids don't watch football now. They watch highlights. And they all watch Travis Hunter's highlights.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of the kids that play football here are going to be a lot more interested in the Jaguars because of Travis Hunter, regardless of what he does.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask a kid. Let's just say, lo and behold, it's the first week of September, and the Jaguars, you know, put together a 12-play, 75-yard drive and take 6 minutes and 22 seconds off the clock. There's no way a kid's going to stick around for that entire drive.
No way. I mean, kids will. There are people out there, Rick, on YouTube that will not watch the game, but watch the condensed version of the highlights that the NFL will put out, and they'll make money. They'll react to the game from the highlights the day after the game.
Why? What else are they doing?
Because they're just making fun of whatever's going on, just reacting to it.
Huh.
That's just, I can't explain it.
No. Hey, you know what I just looked up just for my own self-awareness? Final game of the year. Jaguars lose to the Colts, 26-23 in overtime. Plays that were run that day for the Jaguars, 68. Plays that were run that day for the Colts, 77. When you talk about Travis Hunter and you read the scouting reports and you read all of the analysis, how many times did you see he averaged 113.9 plays a game? That's college football. 114 plays a game. Again, Jacksonville, 68 plays a game. Indianapolis, 77 plays a game. So that is, that is, in my opinion, that is fascinating. Now, I also understand that we're talking about 68 offensive plays and 77 defensive plays. So if you do the math, you can come up with a similar number. But I still think it's going to be pretty intriguing to see how different this is when it's said and done between offense and defense and what the percentage is actually going to be for Travis Hunter when, in fact, they decide what it is that they want to do. Here's a 0030. So one of you guys from Baltimore. Nope. No one here from Baltimore. We brag about the Blue Crab Crab House, which has got some Baltimore and some Maryland feels to it, but absolutely nope. Boston and Jacksonville, right? I'm correct there?
Yes.
You are from Duval. All right, let's get ready for our second hour. Why don't we do that? 641-1010. Feel free to blow us up here. Anything you got that is draft related. I'm still. What is the biggest hole? What is your biggest concern? For me, it's still the offensive line, and that's with 6 new bodies. I'm still really concerned about the offensive line. I have a feeling a lot of you would probably go to the defensive side and say that you have an issue or two there, but why don't we get into that as well during our second hour, and obviously everything that is good that involves the NFL draft. Best way to join us is 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. And as well, you can get us on YouTube. Just go to 1010XL into the night.
1010XL. The quality and standard of your life will not be determined by how well you play football, but by how well you confront adversity. Attitude.
Where attitude is altitude.
Getting a pool? David Garrard here. I just did. But before they dug, I called Clearwater Irrigation, and they capped off all my sprinkler lines so the pool company could just dig away.
Then when your pool's finished, we'll install your sprinkler system back to full coverage.
And now my backyard oasis is getting watered beautifully.
And maybe then, Dave, I could take another quick dip.
Bigger swimming trunks, John. Much bigger.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reich. They quote all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the trumpet call heard round the world. Experience the thrill of the Kentucky Derby at Best Bet. Saturday, May 3rd, witness the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and dive into the action with live wagering. This could be your lucky day. Mark your calendars and join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine on May 3rd for the Kentucky Derby. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com. Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Old City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
The best golfing weather is upon us, and the Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to enjoy your next round of golf with us. Our welcoming atmosphere and love for golf keep our friends coming back. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
How many different denominations of paper money are currently being used?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 7 denominations of U.S. currency: the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bills.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Ackerman Cancer Center, celebrating 10 years of excellence in cancer screening, diagnosis, and treatment. Always accepting new patients and 99% of all insurances. Call now to schedule a new consultation within 48 hours. Learn more at ackermancancercenter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That's going to have have you with us, 7 o'clock. My name is Rick Ballou with you till 8. Dylan Denmark is here. Appreciate Damian Parson being with us in the first hour. I thought he did an outstanding job breaking down the NFL draft. We kind of moved right over Travis Hunter. Everyone's got an opinion there, but wanted to learn more about other draft picks. And tell you what, if you missed it, he really gushed over Caleb Ransaw. He gushed over Wyatt Milam. And he said he thinks Bashal Tutin could be a star. So I thought we'd have some fun this hour. This football team still has the ability, to add some players. And the value is going down. Yesterday, Emmanuel Ogbah, $5 million. I mean, I yelled about it year after year after year that Bulky should have added a veteran presence on the edge. And they refused to outside of Arden Key 3 years ago. Right now, Jacksonville's got $29,312,000. I think it's a chance they could cut a couple of players. I think there is certainly an opportunity that they could go out to the street and bring in a proven veteran. And in my opinion, right now is the time to shop. You could probably get them at a pretty good rate. There is the risk of waiting till camp. And then if you lose a guy because of an injury, could that have some sort of an effect on the price tag? I don't know. I'm one of those who really does believe every day that goes by, the market sets itself just a little bit more. You're probably going to need about half that amount of money for the rookie salaries, right? The 9 draft picks, the 20 undrafted free agents. But Jacksonville right now, their roster is still the smallest in the NFL, and they do have an opportunity to add some players. So why don't we do that? Let's get in. Let's have a good time with it. What is the biggest hole right now with the Jaguars? We'll get Dylan's in a minute. I'll tell you mine is the offensive line, and I'll explain that in just 1 second. But just allow me a minute, because people keep asking me, and I didn't want to do it yesterday because it was all draft recap, and today is still an awful lot on the draft. But the Shedeur Sanders situation became one of the most captivating events, historically speaking, in NFL draft history. And I found myself almost ashamed by the reaction of so many people, and in this case, an overreaction. Let me say, I feel bad for Sanders. Okay? This was awful. For him to fall to the 5th round, no one saw it coming. It's terrible. But I think you also have to be wise enough to understand that he put some of this on himself because of his immaturity, because he was not ready for an interview, okay? But let's just stop right there. There was no collusion. If you think for a moment that 32 owners and 32 general managers got together and said, hey, here's the deal, don't pick Sanders, you're nuts. There's no way that happened. I don't believe it was racism, okay? No. Cam Ward was the top pick in the draft. I'm not a believer in that. What I am a believer in is that Deion Sanders provided an incredible amount of baggage for his son. And I hate to say that because I'm a Deion guy. And I'll tell you right now, you go down the road a couple of hours and you look at Florida State. Mike Norvell cannot recruit, okay? He can't recruit. And we don't know if he can coach. As messed up as college football is today, with all the baggage and all the nonsense, I would take Deion Sanders in a heartbeat in Tallahassee. But he really screwed over his son with the things that he did and the things that he said. I mean, there are separate rules for prime. And again, I am a massive Deion Sanders fan, okay? I just told you. He's the guy I want at Florida State. But he's to blame. And his son not being ready to interview is to blame. That's on him. I don't think it's anything else. Still surprised he went to the 5th round, though, because I can't believe there's not one team out there that said, hey, listen, the kid can play. And people are asking for Mel Kiper's job. Mel Kiper flipped out, and Reese Davis had to settle him down. And I've read it all over the place that Kuiper needs to walk away. I actually thought that was entertaining. It was good to see something like that. The draft can turn very vanilla, after the first round. I thought the prank call was just awful. I'm all about a good laugh. But I thought there should be more discipline to Atlanta for, allowing the defensive coordinator for that number to end up in his son's hands at Mississippi. I thought everything about that was just Bush League, and I'm not surprised that it came out of Atlanta, a place where they've never won and they're never going to win. I thought that was a situation where they really ruined the young man's moment. But apparently the NFL looked into it, and an apology on Instagram was enough. Everyone will move along with their life. All right, Dylan Denmark, what is the biggest hole on the Jaguars position group wise after the NFL draft?
If it's not the offensive line, I'd say safety, because I'd still say it's a big question mark and we don't know who's playing what. I was thinking about this morning, somebody's name that we have not mentioned, unless you can correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody that's played in the last couple of years that has not been talking about this offseason, Antonio Johnson. What's his role? Jordan Lewis is going to play slot corner. Okay. Jarian's on the outside. Travis Hunter's going to play a little bit of corner. So is he going to play, free safety, strong safety? You've drafted a couple guys. What's his role going to be moving forward? And the offensive line is just a bunch of guys. Anton Harrison's going to start, but you're bringing in a lot of guys for competition, and you're going to see who's going to battle it out in camp.
Problem I have right now with safety is that they got some pretty good special teams guys, but they're really limited as far as production on the field. Antonio Johnson does not play well. Daniel Thomas is bad. Okay, he's a special teams guy. If Daniel Thomas is in your defensive backfield at any given time during a game, that is a problem. Dewey Wingard gets all the hype and all the love and all the support, and if you're one of those folks that's in that camp, all the power to you. I think he's very limited as a defensive player. I think he's decent against the run as a third safety. I don't think he is a guy that is any good in coverage, even though there have been times where he is around the football and he has been able to affect and be a part of some takeaways, which were so desperately missing from this football team a year ago. They only had 6 interceptions and 2 defensive fumble recoveries. They had a third on special teams. Think about that for a moment. They were minus 15 for the year. Minus 15. You can't win in this league when you're minus 15, and they only forced defensively 8 turnovers. 8 takeaways, excuse me. So that is brutal. Antonio Johnson's a guy I spoke all offseason about. I had such high hopes for him. He just looks the part. He's got an NFL body. He's a guy that's got, I think, decent skills. He's just one of those guys that I kind of put in the same category as Devin Lloyd, where it feels like he overthinks the game, especially in coverage, and that he's so tied up in his, defensive keys and his responsibility that he does not play football. Right now, I think he's probably the number 2, if not number 3, strong safety. The Caleb Ranshaw to me is a guy that I'd like to put perhaps at strong safety and not free safety. Is Eric Murray cut out to be an every down free safety at going to be 31 years of age? I don't have a lot of confidence in Darnell Savage. I think he'll be lucky to make the team. There's another safety, but I think Antonio Johnson is probably your second strong safety, unless the other rookie, Ray Lane, comes in and takes away that job. Yeah, you know what? I can absolutely see where there is room to add a safety, but kind of understanding what Gladstone is thinking, he added Murray in free agency, and he added Ranshaw and Lane in the draft. That's 3 new safeties. And depending on what happens when you still have Savage and Wingard and Thomas and Antonio Johnson, that maybe they can get by. It's not a strength, no doubt about it. For me, it's all about the offensive line. It's the same deal. It's a situation where every single guy you look at, there is a question mark. Robert Hainsey didn't start a year ago. Now he's got the keys to that operation. Patrick McCarry played everywhere in Baltimore. The position he played least was right guard, where he is entrenched as a starter. Ezra Cleveland, I've never been a big fan of. I think he's just average, maybe below average, all right? And we talk now about whether or not Wyatt Milam can come in, learn a new position, go from tackle to guard. Okay, that's all new. Walker Little, let's get a showing of hands. How many people out there actually believe Walker Little's going to give you a 17-game season without there being an injury concern? Right? And if that happens, where do they go? Is it Fred Johnson? Don't know. Some believe Fred Johnson wins that job. Anton Harrison at this point should be their best offensive lineman and should be heading towards, I think, stardom. He's a first-round pick. He regressed during his sophomore season. Will the light go on for him? Hopefully. He's getting up there on a contract extension. I mean, you got until May 1st to pick up that fifth-year deal on Devin Lloyd. It looks like that's not going to happen. Based on 2 years, you wouldn't be able to answer the question, would you pick up the fifth-year option on Anton Harrison? But next year at this time, you'll know. And you got to figure it out. So, hopefully he takes a huge step forward. His whole future is based on that. He gets that second contract, man, he's set for the rest of his life. But it just hasn't worked out. And then you got all these guys they brought in and all these rookies they drafted. Yeah, there's plenty of depth. But how much faith do you really have in Cole Van Lanner? He's a good swing tackle. He had 3 starts a year ago. How much faith do you have in Javon Foster? I don't have any. I never saw him get on the field. How much faith do you have in Cooper Hodges? Everyone loves him. He's a local guy. The guy can't get out of the hot tub. 2 years, injured both times. If you really want to be a hard ass, he's useless. He can't get on the field. Sorry to be a jerk. I'm all about a good story. And it's not any risk. It's a 7th round money from 2023. But I don't think he makes the active roster. You could bury him on the practice squad. The guy can't get healthy. That's a problem. Chuma, I don't know a lot about him. Ed Oga, I just don't. Another rangy guy. Luke Fortner? I don't have Luke Fortner making this team. You can bring back $1.2 million by cutting Luke Fortner. So there's plenty of names. There's plenty of depth. There's experience. Just don't know if any of these guys, aren't even any good. So that's my biggest problem. And bravo. They've addressed it. 6 new players. The effort was there and is there. Okay, I'm surprised we haven't gotten defensive tackle yet, and I'm going to check the text line here in a second because you people have been freaking out about the defensive line. They didn't do anything with the defensive line. Okay? To me, that speaks volumes about 2 things. Number 1, what I just went through, how sickening, how gross the offensive line has been. Okay? Where's the pride, for crying out loud? Just terrible, that offensive line. Number 2, they happen to think the 4 guys they got can give them something. All right? Devon Hamilton, kind of like Antonio Johnson. Every August, July and August at the Miller Electric Center, I brag about Devon Hamilton. I did 2 years ago before that back injury. Last year as well. Great camp. Didn't have a good season. Mason Smith, lost year, right? Showed some signs late. His best football was late. That's encouraging. Will it work for him? Eric Armstead. I just said pride. Okay? You would think that there's a little professionalism involved with Eric Armstead, a Walter Payton Award winner, a guy that people like. He's remembered around here more for liking the tweet by Aziz than he did anything on the field. I have to believe a man like that is going to take it upon himself to respond. That would be my guess. And then you got a couple of snap count guys like Jordan Jefferson and Tyler Lacey, a guy that can maybe give you a play here and there. I just don't know what else you can really expect out of him. Surprised we haven't gotten more on that. Let me check the text line. As a matter of fact, let me take a break. Then we'll come back and we'll get to you. Why don't we do that? Get you involved with it. But, I mean, what does that say to you as a Jags fan? All the time we talk about the line of scrimmage and how bad. I mean, we can go through all the stats again. They are awful, offensively and defensively. They are pathetic. The Jaguars allowed the most passing yards in the NFL. The Jaguars allowed the most yards per play in the NFL. I mean, they were just terrible, yet they did not do anything with the interior defensive line during this offseason. The the offensive line, they went out and addressed it 6 times. Some of those are tackles. I guess if you're really to make a point there, I could say they added 2 edges, right? They added Ogba, and they added the 6th-round guy, Jalen McLeod. So I guess that is a little that's technically unfair. I guess the accurate way to grade it would be 6-2. 6 offensive linemen, 2 defensive edge guys, but nothing in the interior. Let's get to you on the other side.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Patterson's kick is up. The field goal is good! The Jaguars have won it! They have come back from 27-0!
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
How good is that?
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Charles.
6.
Oh, so close. Betty for the steal.
What about the bank that helps you reach your financial goals? Synovus.
Let's see, judges. Yes, looks like we have a winner.
That's a number?
Sorry, Charlie. Remember, a solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Talk with Synovus about your potential today. Brought to you by Synovus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The number was 4.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Pitched by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators.
Joe C. for Preferred Roofing, reminding you your roof is more than just felt and shingles. It's a system that not only keeps your home dry, but also impacts your heating and cooling bills. Preferred Roofing and Construction is a GAF Master Elite Roofing Contractor lauded for having the ability to educate and inform homeowners on their options. Why GAF and Preferred Roofing? They're veteran-owned and operated with ties to Duval for decades. A family business ready to make sure your family has a good roof over its head. Log on, preferredroofingjax.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
to
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
You can help Micah's Place support domestic violence victims by playing in the Par for a Purpose golf tournament June 20th at the stunning Golf Club of Amelia Island. Register at micahsplace.org/golf.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You have healing power. Even writing a letter or volunteering can help heal a veteran. Find out more at healvets.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Diamond Dave. Poor guy's voice is gone. He was with Van Halen when they came in here a few years back, last couple of times. At least he tried. Always a great entertainer. 0832. I hate to say it, Rick, but I'm probably not right for doing it, but I'm willing to give these guys a half pass based on last year's absolute coaching and front office failure. Sustained. I'm going to allow that. Okay? But enough is enough. We went through Urban Meyer. Now we went through Trent Baalke and Ryan Nielsen and Doug. I mean, enough is enough. The tape doesn't lie. There's got to be player accountability. And with a lot of these guys, there was not. Especially Eric Armstead. But as I have maintained, I envision him bouncing back in what I think will be the final year of his contract. Let's see, 52-62. I guess Mason Graham was a smokescreen for Travis. We never intended to go after him at all. I don't know if we know that for sure. If things had gone differently, if they didn't accept that trade, would they have gone 5? Don't have an answer for you. Not sure how much you care. 64-9. Not sure how much you care about the Senior Bowl, but Milo McGard, the best out of the 15 reps. On the other hand, Josh Monheim won almost every rep he could steal. Could be the steal of the draft. Another range guy. Played a lot of left tackle, right tackle this year at USC. Played center. So he's played 3 offensive positions. He's a 7th-round pick. He's a developmental player. On YouTube, I've got people telling me that they signed a lot of offensive linemen, including the guy Sal Wormley out of Penn State, several defensive linemen. Okay. Always an opportunity there. Remember, the COVID rules are still in place. So you have more practice squad roster spots. Development has really been lacking around here for a long period of time. There's been a few examples of guys who have gotten better, but not many. That is something that is going to have to change for the better. I don't think there's any doubt about it. 33-26, Ballou, thank you for saying that about Sanders. In the grand conspiracy. No. that was on Dion. And, the Sun's going to be prepared. You got to be prepared for interviews, man. I don't care what it is. But wasn't him said that he would never go to Cleveland or go to some of these places like during the midseason? And I don't know. I just got really bored of the story when it was all said and done. Marcus Williams, Justin Simmons, two veterans, free agents who are available. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they add another guy. Here's a bunch of Florida State stuff. I don't want to get into Florida State right now. No, I don't want to do that either. I want to leave that part of it alone. Some of this stuff is good on YouTube, though. No doubt about it. Let's see here. Didn't have enough time to bring in all his guys. Should have brought in a defensive lineman. Yeah, I think that if I'm looking at it now, the position where most of you have a concern is defensive tackle. And, that is fair. But you can only do so much. You know what I'm trying to get at here? That there's only so much that you can do. And I love the way that they address this. I've been on record many times as saying 18.8 points is not enough. 3.2 points in the first quarter is not enough. 8.6 points at halftime is not enough. This team can't do anything offensively until they get to helter-skelter mode. Okay? No huddle at the line of scrimmage. We don't know how long Press Taylor was in the ear of Trevor Lawrence. We don't know if Trevor Lawrence was listening to Press Taylor. That is when they were most effective. And I also think that you have to consider what the defense is doing if they're up by a lot. They're playing on their heels. They're not on their toes. They're going to give you what, you'll take what they give you. You've seen it forever, how defenses go into that prevent style. I want this team to come out and score. I mean, it's a 3-hour game. It's a 60-minute on-the-field game, and I'm about elation. I seriously, you don't know how bad. Even if they lost the game, you don't know how bad I want to see Trevor Lawrence and this offense come out at home and put together an opening touchdown drive. Just think about that. That would be like as you as a fan. You almost never experienced that. It's 3 and out. And it's a bad mood. It's frustration as opposed to, hey, what's going on here? We just drove the entire field and put up a touchdown. Actually have a 7-0 lead. It's not all going to happen overnight. Although I do think this team has an opportunity to win the AFC South. We'll see when it's all said and done. 0956 Blue, someone who has coached football in this for the last 6 years. Every year, the guys who are picked to play the offensive line, bitch, you complain about playing the line every year. I have to give them a 10-minute speech explaining the most important position of the offense. I have to tell them, quarterback, this is pretty lengthy. They complain and getting recognition. Well, that guys like Leon, exactly. I miss it. I miss it tremendously. I was working for, I was covering Bowden in Florida State. And I came over here, and you talk about culture shock. Well, you're a young kid the way that I was, and you go from covering Bobby Bowden to Tom Coughlin. If that's not night and day, I don't know what is. And I learned a lot from both of those gentlemen. But I say it all the time. That offensive line in the 90s was the nucleus of the football team. That is where professionalism began and ended. That was the identity of the team. And I respect the fact that you had Jimmy Smith, Fred Taylor, Keenan McCardell, Mark Bernard, and Tony Brackens, and Kevin Hardy, and Aaron P. I respect it all. But the heartbeat of the team was the offensive line. And it was a spirited offensive line. Dave Weidell's on me all the time. Dave Weidell used to yell at me. Leon Searcy never walked away from an interview. You think he went and hid in the trainer's room? Baselli answered every question. Ben Coleman, my God. Ben Coleman was like my favorite guy to cover, the left guard. You know, I know they switched up at right guard with Brian DeMarco and Rich Tilsky, but that's where the attitude of that football team, in my opinion now, there may be someone else who covered that team. You know, a couple of guys were here. Frangie was here. Hicken was here. Prosser was here. Prisco, maybe. Osher. All right? They may totally disagree with me. And that's fine. I respect their opinion. But for me, that was where I went every single day when I went to the locker room. I went fast. First thing, offensive line. I knew I was going to get some quotes. I knew I was going to get things that would be slightly controversial. I knew I was going to get some things that would be transparent. Loved it. And when's the last time you've had that around here? I mean, come on. That's why I asked tonight, Damian Parson, when he joined us, you know, one of my major questions to him, if you missed that interview, which we did at 6:22, was about Wyatt Milam. Does he have some nasty in him? You know, I mean, some people told me Cam Robinson had some nasty, and not really, not in my opinion. So that's what I want. I want guys who will not allow anyone around Trevor Lawrence. I want guys that, I mean, you talk to any offensive lineman, they will tell you that they would much rather run block than pass block. It's an easier gig. Getting lathered up and running the football is an easier process for the offensive line than it is backpedaling and getting into a pass block formation. Let me find this real quick. I save things because I know I'm going to use them again. But sometimes when I get really, really excited, like I am tonight, the desk gets cluttered. I love it when the desk gets cluttered, okay, here in the studio, because that means there's a lot going on. And that means I'm thinking. And when I'm thinking, I'm shredding and I'm throwing stuff. I'm not shedding blocks. I'm shedding pieces of paper that Dylan printed. But I saved this from Lee and Cohen. All right, this is awesome. This was when he was introduced as the coach. And all the knuckleheads around the country where all they got out of that was Duval and that he didn't have a good opening press conference. That is such a lie. He had an outstanding opening press conference. Duval. He said so many things. Listen to this quote from Liam Cohen the day that he was hired. Quote, he was asked about the offensive line. I think we would all agree that it needs to improve, right? I think first and foremost, when you look at the offensive side of the ball, you want a unit in that group. It's the first thing you see when you break the huddle, and that's what the defense sees. Goes on to say, I want that to mean something. We want that to mean something, and it will. That's the mentality. That's personnel. That's scheme. That's technique. That's fundamentals. That's attitude. That is the greatest thing I've heard about the offensive line in more than 10 years. And I don't think it got the attention that it deserved. And Gladstone said similar stuff when he was on board, 3 weeks, a month later. Of course, Gladstone did it in his way. And they addressed it with 6 new bodies. I love it. I hope it works out for them. But, I mean, that quote is sensational. One more time. Quote, I want that to mean something. We want that to mean something, and it will. And that's the mentality. That's personnel. That's scheme. That's technique. That's fundamentals. That's attitude. That is something that we need to make sure we instill. End of quote. There you go. And throw a little nasty on there while you're at it. Hopefully this football team will. This article was really good. I can't remember who wrote it. Let me see. I think it was Shipley, John Shipley with SI. Always want to give credit to, even though I heard the press conference, I was there for it. Always want to give credit to those who put it out in writing for us. He went on and talked about how last year in camp in Tampa, how they ended up going more gap scheme, that they taught zone. And he said that they went on and they taught zone because it's much easier to teach the zone scheme of blocking when you have no pads on. So they were heavy on zone. And then once they threw on the pads, who did they practice? Did they come here and practice last year? I'm trying to remember.
Tampa?
Trying to remember. Did they? I wish I knew that.
I think they did.
Sometimes during camp, my mind just goes mush. It does. But so maybe it was either during camp or it was during some one-on-one drills that they did in Tampa, or it was during, their preseason, their 3 preseason games. But then he goes on to say, so you can you can teach zone in the offseason when you're playing in shorts, like you teach zone, but they ended up going to gap.
Yeah, Tampa came here in the preseason.
Okay, thank you. They ended up going, yeah, that's right. My buddy's the guy I went to Florida, a really good friend of mine from Rhode Island who I went to Florida State with is the one of the team's policemen who travels with the team. That's right. I remember that now. So they ended up going gap, okay, because they had better gap runners. So he made an adjustment in the month of August that went against what they believed early on, that it was going to be a zone blocking technique. They went to gap because the team reacted better with that style of offense. Doug Peterson and company made 0 adjustments. None. I mean, no adjustments. Offense or defense. I saved this because I thought it would be important, and it's going to be something to monitor once we get into, camp and once we get into the regular season. To me, that is always the mark of a great coach. You watch hockey, you get a guy like Paul Maurice, all right, head coach of the Florida Panthers. His ability to relate with his players is pretty incredible. He's a player coach, but he'll also give you tough love. You know what else he does that is so spectacular? He knows how to set up his hockey team to the best of their ability. Every team is different. Every line is different. And you must recognize and adapt to the talent that you have. Only the greatest coaches are able to do that. And that's why Paul Maurice won a Stanley Cup. That's why he's up 3-1 of the best of 7 right now against Tampa Bay. He sees things on the ice that others do not. And he is able to teach that, and the players respect him enough that they do it, and they play extra hard for him. Hopefully Liam Cohen can get the same thing out of this football team. Everyone plays hard. Everyone tries. The mark of a great football team is how can you get players to go the extra mile for you? How can you get them to not give 100, but 110% every single play? To literally run through a brick wall for you. There's only a few guys who can do that. College or pro. There's a handful. And that's what Liam Cohen is faced with. They certainly have not done that around here as of late with the coaches. Hell no. Not even close. But that's going to be another part of this that's going to be what I think just an incredible offseason and once we get to the in-season as well. All right, we got more to do tonight. Are you kidding me? I'm already fired up for tomorrow night's show. Hacker Nation, ladies and gentlemen. He will join you at 8 o'clock.
What's going on here? What is this? It's 1010
1010XL.
We can't quite understand you.
1010XL.
When you think of America, you think baseball, cookouts, military, and pride for our country. At Garber Auto Mall, we're proud to carry every American-made truck at one location. Ford, Chevy, GMC, Ram, and Jeep. With the largest inventory selection in North Florida, you can shop with one salesperson. Garber Auto Mall is proud to support our country, our military, and our community. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. Garber Auto Mall. Proud to be American.
All right, folks, let's get real. Losing weight's no fun. All right, and it's not easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. That was the case in New Orleans this weekend. Great food in New Orleans. All right, believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 13 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, never hungry. And it isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great. So when I'm out on the road, here's the beauty. Talking with one of my coaches over at Awaken 180. They give me the confidence, or they give me the game plan to handle real life situations. Temptation is everywhere for me, yet I've been able to overcome it. Again, down 13 pounds. So if you're tired of carrying around extra weight, the diets that don't work, do what I did what Hacker Nation did, Dempsey and Hayes as well. Basically everyone. It's easy. It works. Go to Awaken180weightloss.com.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com, COYLE, jacks.com.
With the first pick in the 2025 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the #1 plumbing, septic, and air conditioning contractor in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked #1?
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing, septic, or AC issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to tackle your problems today. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Cooking with Crisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rollie.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL. No matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
The career is over in Jacksonville for Ethan Waugh, the assistant general manager who was promoted to the interim general manager position when Trent Baalke was fired. Let go today. So the James Gladstone era well underway after free agency and the draft. I would expect him to bring in some more front office guys to help aid him moving forward. And, you know, I've said this many times over the years. You look at other rosters, Jacksonville has been probably the least amount of front office types out of any of the 32 teams. I don't know if that was this bulky, but more is better, right? You always hear less is more. More is better in this case. More opinions, more scouts, more front office types. Go to L.A., get Ray Farmer. Chris Driggers is a scout. Promote him. I believe he still lives here in Jacksonville. I've seen him out at the Florida State practices at UNF the last couple of years. Driggers was here for about 30 years until he was let go a couple of years ago. It's done nice work with the Rams. Obviously, his analysis came in on Verse and Fisk. Not saying that that's the reason why they were picked, but he was scouting them here. And I'm sure he scouted plenty of Florida State games and in Florida and Georgia games in this territory. So, I would expect in May that you're going to hear some new names. Jake Tem is a guy he brought in about 6 weeks ago, Senior VP of Football Analytics. So, James Gladstone now beginning to put his fingerprints all over the front office. Big night in the National Hockey League. The Leafs trying to close on the Senators. 3-1 in the best of 7, no score. First period, Devils and Hurricanes. Carolina up 3-1 in the best of 7 there. New Jersey up 1-0. 5 minutes into period number 1 at 9:30 tonight. How about the Wild and the Golden Knights? Wow. Las Vegas dropped the puck at 9:30. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. Those two series out west, by the way, are both tied at 2 apiece. So a very important Game 5. It's a great night for you hockey fans out there. Enjoy it. We got some hoops tonight as well. Celtics are going to try to close out the Magic. It's in Boston. They are an 11.5-point favorite, up 3-1 in the best of 7. That'll be at 8:30 tonight. We'll also have it on 10:10 on the AM. Right now, Bucks up 68-64 over the Pacers. 4 minutes to go, third quarter. Indy up 3-1 in the best of 7 there. And, of course, Pistons and Knicks just barely underway. New York up 3-1. And we have a late-night West Coast game in Denver. Series locked at 2. It is the Clippers and the Nuggets. So there you go. That is what is going on tonight, both on the ice and on the hardwood. It's a great time of year. And May will get even that much better as we get deeper into both of these playoffs. So with Major League Baseball going on, with college baseball going on, it's a pretty good time waiting for the Jaguars to tell us when they're going to have a rookie mini camp, waiting for some of those announcements to be made so we can get over there to the Miller Electric Center and get an opportunity to see, which is going to be a huge group, right? 9 drafted players, 20 signed undrafted free agents, and I'm telling you, they'll bring in another 10, 15 or so street free agents. I remember the year that Bortles was selected, and Linder and Telvin, and what was that? Allen Hurns, Allen Robinson. It's like one of their best drafts of all time. They had 49 rookies that particular year working out during rookie minicamp.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Service by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little selfish. You know, I always love the 90 guys working out, and it's impossible with 2 eyes. But during rookie minicamp, I kind of want to just focus on about 5 or 6 guys. And when they drop 49 on you, makes it a little bit difficult.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot of rookie mini camps. Actually, some are going on this weekend. A lot are going on next week. I would imagine the Jaguars are going to do something. I know their first OTA, I believe, is May the 19th. So we're about 3 weeks away from that. So we're on the doorstep, man. It's getting very, very close.
I wanted to slow down a little bit. We're already saying goodbye to April. I kind of began with that. I mean, it's one of those deals where you blink twice and it's going to be late July, and we're going to be at the Miller Electric Center.
Well, this offseason's been wild. I mean, it's been what? Have we even had an offseason, really, here in Jacksonville?
Not in sports radio, no.
From the Doug Peterson situation to the Trent Baalke to the craziness of Liam Cohen to the Gladstone hire, then most active team in pro free agency, and then Travis Hunter. I mean, it has been probably the craziest offseason here in Jacksonville I can ever remember.
Starting to learn about some of these newer players. Had an analyst on tonight where we didn't speak on Hunter. We got deeper into it, and a lot of experience, a lot of versatility, and again, a situation where guys did one thing in college. They're going to be asked to do something different now here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, actually, I have some guys coming on tonight. John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane, is going to join me to talk about Caleb Ransaw. I didn't realize this. Summerall brought Ransaw with him from Troy. He had Ransaw for 3 years. And interestingly enough, Summerall as well is really good buddies with Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen bought his house in Lexington. When Summerall left to go take the job at Troy, Cohen bought his house. So there's all kinds of stories that we're going to get into with the head coach of Tulane. Also, Brent Pry, the head coach of Virginia Tech, is going to join me to talk about Tootin, the 4th-round running back. Offensive coordinator of Syracuse is going to stop by tonight, Coach Nixon, to talk about LaQuint Allen. And then Mike Silver of The Athletic wrote just a terrific piece being in the war room with the Jaguars over this past draft weekend. He's going to join us right about 8:15 this evening.
Mike's always good. What a sensational piece he had with that background coverage or, being in the war room. It was absolutely spectacular. Have a great show.
Thanks, Rick.
It's going to do it for us. We're back here in 22 hours. We'll be ready to roll. We'll be ready to go, right? Ready to go every night, into the night. That's the way we do it. Thank you to Damian Parson. Really enjoyed that from Locked On NFL Draft. Good podcast he does, draft-wise. But appreciate his input. Again, I don't check the website now or YouTube or the text line out the show is over. But you can always get me on Twitter or X. Just go to Ballou1010XL. Thank you to Dylan Denmark. My name is Rick Ballou. We'll talk tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Wherever you go, we go.
Those are the rules. I didn't make them up.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices to listen anywhere in the world.
Maybe the key to the whole plan. You get it?
Got it.
Good.
All right, fellas, I got to brag a little. I'm down 40 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss and keeping it off.
That's cute, Matt. I'm down 110 pounds. That's like losing a Backstreet Boy.
Okay, so I'm the rookie here. I just started, but I'm already down 13 pounds, and let me tell you, it feels good to see the results already.
That's the thing, man. Awaken 180 works. No shots, no meds, no gimmicks, just real food, real support, and real results.
The support team is a game changer because we all know it's so easy to get distracted. But with Awaken 180, you get your own coach and a plan that works with your lifestyle. style.
And free support for life.
Plus, no gym workouts required, which is great because let's be honest, I wasn't running wind sprints either.
25, 40, even 110 pounds. If we all can do it, so can you. Call 844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com.
That's 844-346-1800 or awaken180weightloss.com.
My son had a